Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Nabilah rachmadhani, and first I want to say thank you for our examiner and for my supervisor, Mr. Muhammad Taufik Ihsan, and thank you for all of audience that watching this video. And today, in this occasion, I want to present to you about my thesis by title, The Correlation Between Students' Critical Thinking and Their Writing Skill of 4th semester student of English Education Department of Sultan Syarif Kasim Riau. First, let me tell you about the background of the problem of my research. According to Harmer, 2007, stated that writing may become a challenging skill for students to learn. At 1990 points out that to write effectively, the ideas, information of the writing should be developed in a good organization. And the other thing that should be paid attention is related to the craft of writing, particularly the reading skill. However, the ability to read might not be enough for them, since they should also have the ability to judge and determine the material or subjects which are appropriate or have some advantages to their writing. In addition, critical thinking is necessary for students because it will reveal how they use their hand and their mind, which work in harmony and that facilitate them to create a good writing. As Elder Paul said, critical thinking gives influence to the parts of our writing. People who think critically should be able to make interesting writing, or not only clear writing. It's meant that they should have more skillful in their English essay writing, and they will be able to construct the logical assumption and accurate conclusion. And next is the problem of the research. First is identification of the problem. I have three of identification of the problem. First is students' critical thinking on writing needs to be enhanced more. Second, students have lacked interest in the writing. And third is students do not understand the writing method and concept of writing. And for the limitation of the problem, the focus of this research is the correlation of critical thinking and writing skill. And this research also focuses on the influence of the students' critical thinking level on the writing skill. For the formulation of the problem, first is how is students' critical thinking level at the 4th semester students of English Education Department, and second is how is the students' writing skill at the 4th semester students of English Education Department, and third is there any significant correlation between students' critical thinking and writing skill of the 4th semester students of English Education Department. The objective of this research, first is to find out the students' critical thinking level at the 4th semester students of English Education Department, and to find out the writing skill of the 4th semester students of English Education Department. And last is to find out if there is any significant correlation between critical thinking and their writing skill of 4th semesters of English Education Department. And for the operational concept of this research, there are two variables, variable X and Y. For variable X is students' critical thinking, and the variable Y is writing skill. And the indicator of this research for variable X or critical thinking is from Anderson and Cadwell. There are 5. First is the students are able to recall or recognize knowledge which is relevant, particularly taken from the long-term memory. And second is the students are able to consider and decide the meaning of the oral or written message received. The third is students are able to conduct something in a certain situation. And the fourth is the students are able to divide things in an organized way and then observing the relationship between them. And the last is the students are able to judge something in accordance with the criteria and standard. For variable X, writing skill is served as dependent variable, and based on Hughes 2003, there are 5 indicators: is grammar, vocabulary, form, style, and mechanic. For the research method, the design of this research is correlational research, and for location and time, this research was conducted on May until July 2021 at Sultan, Syarif, Kasim, Riau. For subject and object, the subject of the research was the 4th semester students of English Education Department, and the object of the study was the students' critical thinking and writing skill. And for the total population and sample of this research, the total of population of 4th semester students of English Education Department is 110. For class A, there are 28, class B 28, class C 27, class D 27. And for the sample, researcher was used simple random sampling technique. So if the population is under 100, the writer can take all of the population as sample. So if the population more than 100, the writer can take 10%, 15%, 20%, or 25%. And the researcher decided to choose the 25% of total population. So the total of the sample was 27 students. For the technique of data collection, this research was used 2 of tests. First is critical thinking test and the writing test. For critical thinking test, it was created by Starkey 2004 with 30 questions to measure critical thinking. The question is in the multiple choice form. And for the writing skill, the researcher used independent essay test to find out the student writing skill. And during this pandemic, COVID-19, the researcher used Google Form to collect the data, and the researcher gave the link of the Google Form to the students in WhatsApp group. And the test was multiple choice in 30 questions by Starkey. And for the writing skill, researcher also used the WhatsApp group to collect the data, and the students are instructed to do the essay writing and then send the result to the researcher email. The technique of analyzing data. This research is aimed to find the correlation between students' critical thinking and their writing skill. So the person-product moment was used to analyze the data. And the technique is used because the both of the data is interval, and this research was analyzed by using SPSS 23.0 program. And after analyzing the data, researcher found out that students' critical thinking, based on the table above, the mean score of student critical thinking is 63.44, and based on the category of students' critical thinking score, the critical thinking of 4th semester students of English Education Department is categorized into middle category. The minimum score is 30, and the maximum score is 96. And for the writing skill, based on the table, show that the mean score of students' writing skill is 77.37. It means that the category for students' writing skill is good. The minimum score is 64 and maximum is 93. And for the correlation between students' critical thinking and their writing skill, the Pearson correlation was conducted in this research in order to determine any significant correlation between students' critical thinking and their writing skill at 4th semester students of English Education Department of SUSKA. And the value of the correlation coefficient is 743. And for the conclusion of this research, researchers found that there is significant correlation between students' critical thinking and their writing skill of 4th semester students of English Education Department of Sultan, Syarif, Kasim, Riau, with categorized strong. So I think that's all from me. Sorry for my mistake. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.